my is Derius Erasmus. Hy is ons fotografie beoordelaar. Dankie dat jy dit gedoen het.
Ja, dit is verskriklik lekker.
Tyd ons
Ek geniet
spandeer.
dit. Foto's kan gesels, is altyd fyn.
Derius is self 'n fotograaf en vertel ons bietjie waarmee jy besig op die oomblik.
Op die oomblik is ek besig met ek skiet so 'n bietjie van alles. Ek het 3 hotelle wat ek nou net wag vir ons lockdowns om weer te besluit wat gebeur, want dit is alles op hold. Ek skryf die argitektuur wat ek 3 hotelle besig is mee en dan 'n fashion shoot hier in Berg in Magoorskloof. Vriende van my wat dametjie wat leer klere maak. So ons doen 'n bietjie bosfoto's daar so in die berg. So
En ek het gesien jy het 'n bietjie kosfoto's ook.
kosfoto's nou nog vir Kroonhuis gedoen vir hulle nuwe menu. Ag, die kosfoto's en daai, dis lekker dan vir my groot studio ligte. So ek hou van challenge, ek hou van ietsie anders te doen. So ek doen 'n variety van
Het jy 'n gunsteling genre?
mense. Mense is lekker want 'n mens, jy kan 5 foto's van dieselfde mens op 5 minute neem en elke om emosie te vang, om mense natuurlik te vang, dis altyd die challenge om mense te laat maklik voel voor die kamera as die ander challenge as jy groot deel van dit vra wees as mense afneem. Dis baie meer people skills as camera skills want jy kan die verskil sien tussen 'n natural en 'n gemaklik.
Ja. Dankie en kom ons gaan kyk bietjie wat die kinders.
Ja, dis mooi werk.
We are looking at the winner of the junior category of the photography competition that we had, young Pretorius from Unicorn Preparatory. What was it that caught your eye?
The first thing that caught my eye, all 3 of these photographs look like they belong together, even though they're different photographs. They've got a similar look and a similar feel to them. The overall slight bluiness to the background with the nice warmer colors of the animals coming through. Although that might not have been planned, but there's consistency in the work.
So it forms
It's
a
like
unit.
it forms a unit, and that is especially in a photographer's work as well. If you get consistency as well, then it means you're onto something. You're not just taking random snapshots of pretty things. You're making artwork and they fit together. And then in general, the overall sharpness and quality of the photos is just from a technical side is great. Especially the flying, catching a bird in flight is incredibly difficult. And then if you get it, then most the focus is on the tail and then on the eye or on the bird. So it's very difficult to get, and this is spot on. The focus is perfectly on the eye. The motion captured, it's nice and crisp. You can see all the detail.
So obviously, to do something like this, and because you're a photographer, you need to spend a lot of time in the nature, in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that it comes naturally, like specifically this photo as well. It's not just a nice photo of a bird in a nest. It's composition-wise, it's very nice as well. It's got balance. There's a lot of separation between your background and the foreground. Not just with the focus, but also in tone, in highlights. It's much darker with the brighter. Your brighter part of the frame is where your eye goes to immediately. So this immediately separates the subject, which is the 2 nests and the bird, from the background. So it's a very nice presentation.
The winner of the senior category photography is Kira Booth. She's a grade 9 pupil from Merensky. There is it's 3 very different pictures or photographs. Which one was the first to catch your eye or that grabbed you?
What I've noticed as well, also not a specific one, but also what I see, they're very, very different photos, but there's something that's very similar in all of them, and it's soft light. Soft light's not necessarily the best, always what you want to do, but soft light's in general very flattering, and it shows a lot of detail because a lot of the hard shadows is going to be away. If there was bright sunlight on this elephant, you would only see the top and not see the little baby. Same with the faces, same with this. If this was bright sunlight, the cap and the facial expressions won't be as clear. So the soft light brings out a lot more detail. But in general, there was just not much I could find wrong with any of the photos. That is just what you want with this, the photo like this, because it's all, you just see elephant. And that is a lot of a mistake beginners make is they take a photo, but they take a lot of stuff in the photo that's not supposed to be there. If everything in the photo must be there for a reason. So like this, you fill the frame, it's just elephant textures, and then you get a sense of the feeling. What they're trying to tell you is the mom with the baby, and the way it is shot gives you an idea of what that baby feels like being surrounded by just elephants, and you see that as a viewer in the photograph as well. So it's more than just a nice photo of a nice elephant. It tells a little story, and then composition-wise, there's just grey, black skin textures with the white dusk. immediately draws your eye, and then you see it. So that composition-wise is great. With the leg here, that is perfect. Everything like that. Light-wise, like an action shot like this as well, it's not easy to get that and not get motion blur and things like that. So it's and it's a nice pose and it's a nice composition as well, perfectly with the ball in the nice action shot that the person looks nice in motion, and it's and you can see the concentration in the face, and it tells a little story. So and then with the two kids in the forest, that is just once again good quality light. Directional lights, because the light is not just full from the front, you get a lot more depth in the highlights, in the shade, it's much more three-dimensional, something like that. So this one might be a slightly better crop or framing like that, but other than that, and the emotion as well, that's not just them sitting there looking at the photo smiling. They were chatting and laughing, and she was looking at something else, and the moment the photographer decided to take the photo is also one of the other things. And that is from the photographer's side, like there's a little magic moment in each part. So, and not just wait until they smile and everybody's nice for the photo. It's more to try and capture personalities and emotions, and that's what you want in the photo.
In the second place with the photography, we have Derius with quite a big portfolio that she entered for this competition. Here is what, tell us, speak to us.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of good stuff and a lot of stuff that's not so good. So the one big lesson besides for the actual photography, there's some very nice photos here. But the one thing that can also make the photographer's work, the quality of your work, a lot better without doing any adjustments to your photography is scrutinizing your own work and seeing which ones are not as good and seeing which ones are good. But you also need to know why they're good. That will come with time and with experience and with lessons that we're doing here and with stuff like this that we're doing. But in future, your quality of your work you publish what you publish determines your quality of your work. So in instance, less is more type of thing. So what happens here is a lot of great photos that could have easily win the competition, but there's also a lot that's not as nice, and the photographer went more for trying to cover all the categories rather than choosing your best of your best. And even then you must go choose just that one best one and submit that, or the best three, or one per category or something like that. But overall, I'm
Which one was your favorite?
The lions, I like the lions, but as one photo, not as three photos. Because they're almost exactly the same, and they're almost exactly the same pose. The lighting is very good, very soft lighting, so you see all these textures. If this was bright sunlight, all of this detail would have been lost with a big shadow. So they tell a little story to me of the two males. I know it's the same male, but it's two different poses, so you can have it almost as two different males. So what I thought is mirror the one, and then you can have like the female in the mirror, and the two males either looking away or at her, or the one that's yawning this way, and the two that's looking away that way, like with bad breath. You can play little stories that you can mix and match with. Overall, the nature shots are great. Insects, and there's some of the animal shots that were great, some of the landscape ones that were good. Some of the not lesser good ones, maybe composition-wise, timing-wise, with a photo like this. If the bird was just looking back, either at the camera or back that way. So you see the bird is, you always want to look at where, see this is perfect. See the bird is looking this way, and there's more space on this side of the frame as well. So you want to give the creature or the person or anything looking good. Even with this book is looking this way, there's another space, it feels natural. Where a photo like this, it feels, I want to see what's going on here. I want to see what it's looking at. And I'm not seeing that. So if it's looking this way, I can see, oh, this image better. So there's a lot of small little things like that. Like for instance, this as well. It's a great shot, and it's difficult to get almost. So you don't, in the field, you can't decide, okay, I want better light. You just say, oh, this is good, and you get the shot. But you get that shot, but maybe just wait 5 minutes more. If the critter just walked a little bit back in the light with this bushes running, he will stand out more, because the moment the background stands out more than the subject. So with wildlife, it is difficult to get all the technical stuff right, but that's why patience, you wait a bit. If you're lucky, and sometimes you're not lucky, and then you get it next time. And then once you've got a whole portfolio of all your great kudu shots, then you go and pick the ones with a nice light, and those ones you submit those ones to the. But overall, a lot of potential, and technically there's a lot of good stuff happening here. Portraits is great, the emotion that's captured is great. So it's just a few small things, but other than that, it's great work here. Composition-wise, most of them are great composition-wise as well. I just like, for instance, this photo, that would be a great photo. Or like that. Just like that. Then, because this is a story, that is not the story. So they focus on sunset, but there's a whole story going on. Rather use the sunset as something pretty in the background of your story than just take a picture of the sunset that has some stuff in front.
Yeah.
Because the sunset is the same every day, all over the world. It's nice colors, it's bright and all the pinks and oranges, but it's not something we haven't seen before. I mean, this is something nobody has ever seen before because those birds have never sat like that ever before, and you can tell a little story of your own.
And in the third place for the photography competition is Bianca Fourie with her portfolio of wildlife, mostly named. Derius?
Yes, yeah, it's mostly wildlife, one landscape. What I saw here in general is also the potential. So there's a lot of technical things that is maybe not as perfect as it can be, but once again the potential is more where you're going to, and all of the little things that it's not wrong, it's just lessons, it's little lessons that you learn, and all the criticism that you get is little ammunitions for in your back pocket that you have in the back of your mind when you're shooting and things like that. So what I see here as well, overall, like things like exposure and time of day is the main thing that is maybe not wrong, but that can be better. In all three photos, you can see she wasn't conscious of the time of day, and time of day is your light when you're doing natural photography. When doing a portrait of a person, then you control the light, but if you're outside, then nature controls the light, but you can control nature by when you go outside. Not just necessarily just early mornings and late afternoons, but just in general looking for good quality light. So that's the only thing, like this, the quality of the light is not as great, but this would work much nicer as maybe an abstract artistic photo because of the dark shadows. Because the main focus here was the movement, but you're not seeing much of the movement with the mud splashing. But the timing is nice, the composition is not bad, it can be a bit tighter, so a bit different time of day, this would be a great shot. And even if you get this shot, maybe black and white, if you've got high contrast like that, light grass, dark animals, dark bushes, if you've got high contrast in a photo, see what it looks like black and white, because immediately then other stuff, in black and white, the story comes up more, emotions come up more, then you'll be focused more on what's going on. So it's there's a lot of potential, that's what I'm saying. Like these ones as well, the love of the animals is what the photographer is trying to capture. So I would just say, if there's a nice sunset and some other animals in the background, yes, frame it like this, but there's not much happening in the background. See, this would be a great shot, that would also be a great shot.
Oh wow.
Just that.
Just the animals.
Just that. So decide what is your focus on your subject and focus on your subject. Not just focus, but your compositional focus. Fill the frame with what's important and get the stuff that's not important out of the way. If you want landscape in the background, have it there, but then it must have a purpose, it must be beautiful or something like that, something happening in the back. And then landscape-wise, this one stood out for me from all the other ones. Yes, in general, it might look like just a bit of a boring photo, but technically there's a lot of good things happening. It just looks like a painting. So a bit different time of day maybe, maybe wait until there's a bit more something happen in the sky. But overall composition-wise, yes, obviously the thirds, but also why did you choose this third instead of this third? This third wouldn't be as nice as this one because of the way that the tree leans. It feels more balanced if it will be on this side. Where if this tree was on this third, it would still look nice, but this one look better. And that is something that comes, that compositional element just comes with experience, and it comes after a while, it comes naturally.
With the feeling also.
It comes with the feeling. It just feels right. It just feels balanced. But sometimes this one and that one feels good. You take both and you have to decide which one's better. But overall, it's a few technical things might be a bit overexposed and stuff like that. But overall, it's competition is great, and yeah, it's I can see natural talents that's behind the photo. So no, there's a lot of potential, and
I think it's an exciting medium for kids to do.
Yes. Instant gratification. That's why you don't have to wait. You don't have to work months on a project before you see the end result. You get it in a millisecond. I did that wrong, I did that right. You can try again. So all I can say for all the photographers is shoot as much as you can, because every time you learn a little lesson and realize that you don't know everything, and
and look at photos. Look at other people's photos.
Yeah, that's the thing. I do a lot of paintings. I study paintings a lot. I study cinematography, movie lighting, composition. If you watch a movie, you can see how they frame it. Where's the person? Where's the building? It's a landscape shot. There's a lot to be learned, and the learning never ever stops till the day you die.
Thank you. Bye.